Hello and welcome to another video. This is just gonna be a very chill video where I am gonna take you along. I am in Melbourne, Australia, and I am gonna go and look at the makeup here. So I was hanging out with Kat yesterday from Kitsch Snitch and the Beauty News, and I will leave both of their channels down below, and she showed me a bunch of places where you could buy makeup here in Melbourne. So I thought today, since I'm in Australia and maybe you are as nosy as I am, I can show you the kind of brands that they have available here, the kind of things that they have, and just show you a little bit how it looks. I don't know how organized this video is gonna be. I'm probably gonna have to do a voiceover because, well, I'm gonna go downtown, there's gonna be a bunch of people, but I thought it could be a fun video to just show something different because I do know that a bulk part of my audience is from North America. So maybe you're nosy like me. Let's head out and take a peek, and maybe at the end as well I can show you if I bought something. I started out by taking the tram into the core of the city. I will say I love public transportation, and Melbourne's has been really nice. I started with hitting up Mecca. Mecca felt like a little bit of a mix between a department store and a Sephora. They did have some brands that we know from before, like Too Faced and some of those kind of brands, but they also had some brands like RMS Beauty and also some brands that we see mostly at like department stores, and that's why I'm saying it felt almost a little bit like a department store. And I also ended up seeing this is Mecca's own like skincare products, and I did get one of these SPFs because Kat told me that this one was a really good product and I wanted to try it out for sure. There was also this really cool brand that I've never seen before. The packaging looks like a mix between like a pen and a bullet almost, and they had blushes and eyeshadows and lip products, a bunch of different things. It was kind of interesting, and yeah, this is what I said, it was giving like department store vibes with the Chantecaille counter. They had all those things out. I don't see them outside of like department stores in the US. I also saw Violet France. They were having a counter with a bunch of different things. I didn't end up buying anything because I didn't think that any of these were like perfect for me, but I thought it was fun to see it in real life. Also, we had the Mecca Max, which is the in-house brand at Mecca. They had everything, just like Sephora brand or like the Ulta in-house brand. Basically, you could get a full face here. They had eyeshadows and blushes and bronzers and just foundations, the whole shebang. And I thought there was like a lot of fun stuff to look at with this brand. I especially looked at the eyeshadow crayons because Kat had been recommending them, and I thought they had some really nice matte colors. So you will see at the end of the video, you're gonna see me hauling one of these because I ended up getting one of the matte colors to see if I can use it as like a primer. I also was very intrigued to see Stila having a counter here. Also, Kylie Cosmetics was next to Jouer Cosmetics. I haven't seen Jouer have a counter in the US for a really long time. And also then we have the Australian brand Frank Body. They're apparently known for their body scrubs. Body scrubs is not something I do a lot, but they did have a bunch of different products, and it's always nice to see different things. Also, Half Magic had like a full gondola here. That was fun to see. And this is what I'm saying, like the department store vibe, because there was a bunch of different like almost like more niche or very high-end fragrances also at Mecca, and I thought that was really interesting to see. Next, I went to Sephora. Of course, there is a Sephora in Australia as well. They do have some of the brands that we like know from before that we expect to see inside a Sephora. There was also an Innisfree next. So there's like One Size, Makeup by Mario, Fenty, Rare Beauty, these brands that we expect to see at Sephora basically. They also had Pixie, which was one of the brands that I was not expecting to see in a Sephora, and Zoeva. Do you remember Zoeva? I was so fascinated by all the different things Zoeva. So many things that I haven't seen in store, like bronzers and lipsticks, and they had the blushes and the highlighters. Like, look at this blush here, so pretty. And they were also having some of those new eyeshadows. I think I mentioned those in the new makeup releases. They were so beautiful, so I ended up getting actually one of those. I also ended up going into Innisfree and I bought one of the sheet masks. I love Innisfree and I love like browsing through J Beauty, K Beauty, C Beauty, and there's a lot of Asian influences you can tell in Melbourne, so that was really interesting to see as well. Then I went into Priceline, which is what I think their biggest like drugstore ish kind of a store. So I found a couple of brands like this one, Nude by Nature, that were either Australian or brands that I had not seen before. They also had some brands that we
like you would recognize from before, like Revlon, and they also had CoverGirl. We do not have CoverGirl in Europe, so at least not in Sweden. Maybe in other countries in Europe. If you have CoverGirl, let us know. It was just very interesting to see what brands are in Australia, not only Australian brands, but also like European brands, American brands, because it's all just very fascinating to see like what makes it to the market versus not. We also have this, I think it's Natio. I think that's the one. They had also a bunch of different things. And I will say, one of the things that I noticed, and you'll see that in a bit as well, they have a lot of eyeshadow palettes in the drugstore from different drugstore brands in a way that I have not really seen, at least not in this way, from like US drugstore brands having like eyeshadow palettes. Also, are you noting that there is a lot of testers? They have the same as we do in Europe, which is that you get testers even on drugstore makeup. I don't know if you're noticing that here, but they do have it. This is Max Factor. Like I said, I have not seen Max Factor since I left Europe, so it's really interesting to see a full gondola again. I remember like loving and using some of those stuff for sure. I especially love their foundations and their mascaras back when I was in Europe. I also had this one. I think it's called Models Prefer, which is a really weird name for a brand, by the way. But they also had a full range of stuff, and it just interesting to see it. And then also Australis. I do remember hearing a lot of things about Australis. Apparently they're known for their complexion products. I didn't end up like buying any of those, but I will say all of the eyeshadow palettes actually looked, I mean, the packaging of course was pretty like drugstore, Makeup Revolution, but look at these palettes. And I swatched some of them. They actually swatched pretty decently, I'm gonna be honest, and I was kind of impressed with how they looked, how they swatched, and I just thought that this was a very interesting brand when it comes to eyeshadows, because like I said, we haven't really seen stuff like this from like drugstore brands in the US. Usually when it is like different kind of eyeshadows, it's little quads or very neutral things or singles, but I thought that this was honestly kind of intriguing.
I have my goodies here, the things that I bought when we were out shopping together. This is actually 2 days later. I'm just getting around to filming this. I actually already filmed a little get ready with me where I was using some of these things, and that will be coming later as well. I was getting ready for dinner. If you're interested in seeing me trying some of these things, like I said, I did pick up the Nomad Cosmetics Broad Spectrum UVA UVB Defense Skin Perfecting Sunscreen. This one was recommended by Kat, and she said that this one was great. It comes in a big tube like this, and we did try out the tester when we were there, and it felt really nice and like lotiony on the skin. It didn't feel like sunscreen sometimes can feel like greasy and tacky. It didn't feel like that. It felt like lotion, and it also smelled like lotion, which sometimes sunscreens can smell not good. And at Innisfree, I did buy the mask that I showed you. This is the Green Tea Energy Mask. I thought that this would be great to just bring along on vacation, and now that we are actually officially starting our vacation, we are leaving tomorrow for Sydney. The conference is over today. I think that I will pamper myself with the mask. Maybe I should have bought two. One for my husband too. He's not in love with skincare, but he does skincare with me sometimes to just like, you know, humor me. They also gave me some samples. This is the Green Tea Hyaluronic Serum. They gave me 2 samples. I might actually use these during the vacation as well, because I always pack as little like skincare as possible when I'm doing like these trips. I pack a lot of options when it comes to makeup, and then I pack 0 options when it comes to skincare. So I did pick up a couple of the things from Zoeva that I showed you. I thought it was so fun to see Zoeva in store, to see the stuff, to be able to swatch the stuff. Zoeva used to have a counter at Swedish Sephora when Sephora came to Sweden, but then I guess they weren't as popular in Sweden because they're no longer available. But here in Australia, they're still available. So I got one of the low quads. This is the Velvet Love. It says Velvet Love. Is there a name to this? Purple Hazel Ice. That's what it's called. And knocking things over, and this is what it looks like. As you can tell, I did wear this one yesterday, and I did film some close-ups for the video that I did, the get ready with me, so I'll pop in this close-up of like the swatches of this one as well. Honestly, I thought this was really cute. I wore this yesterday. It wore great the whole evening. This is such a great like little everyday palette. The matte was actually really nice on the eyes. There are 3 shimmers in here, and I think that this is honestly a pretty cute quad. The thing with Sueva, and I really felt it when it came to this blush, is that their makeup is pretty like unoffensive. Like it's pretty muted, it's not very pigmented or bold. And this one is the blush, and it is in Pleasure. That's the color of the blush, and it looks so beautiful in store. When I swatched it, it was like a pale pink with like a peachy gold sheen. You will see this in the upcoming video. Let me actually swatch this. Nothing. It looked like nothing on my skin. It literally, it was not shimmery or sheeny enough to be a highlighter, and it wasn't pigmented enough to be a blush. It looked like a satin finishing powder. It just looked like nothing. It looked like nothing, and I honestly, I didn't think, because this could be a blush on me, but it's not. It's not a blush on me. I also did get one of the lip liners, and I wore this yesterday, and it's a pretty cute lip liner. It wasn't too dark. I'm always on the hunt for a not too, oh, there you go, not too dark lip liner. I do wish it was a little lighter, but I still thought that this was a really good lip liner. It is like a almost rosy mauvey beige, and this is also from Sueva, and this is in Zoe. I did also buy a lip liner from Australis. Let me see if I can open this. Oh, my battery is dying. Oh no! Okay, we're gonna have to go through this at a little bit more of a speed because my camera is kind of dying. So this is the Australis Naked Lip Liner. Let's put this next to this one. Oh god, this is very light. Will this be too light? That's so interesting. Okay, I cannot wait to try that one out. I will try that one out tomorrow and see. And then I got one of the crayons I told you from Mecca Max. So this is the Zoom Shadow Stick in matte, and it is in terracotta. Look at that shade. Let's put that here. Look at that. It's like, oh, and it's so creamy. Oh wow, I am so impressed with that. I'm gonna use this one. I will let you know how I feel about these things, but that, so gorgeous. And I got one of Model's Preferred. This, I showed you that quickly in the video. This is one of the eye pens, but they had it in yellow, and you know how I feel about yellow. Oh, that's gonna be so cool. And I swatched it because they had testers, and it actually swatched pretty good. I am so excited. I'm so excited about these things. It was so much fun shopping in the different stores here, seeing what was available. Let me know if you are from Australia, if these are brands that you're used to. Let me know if you've ever been shopping in Australia and you saw the same things as I was seeing. And let me know also, did I pick up any of your favorites? I would love to hear your thoughts. Battery is dying. I hope you're having a great day, and I will see you soon again in a new video. Bye!